We're live. We are live after the shit show. You get very dehydrated working those shows for that long. Kind of a sad thing. If you're joining me, you're a fight fan. You probably saw UFC 229, so you will know what happened there. And Khabib, after a brilliantly dominant performance, jumped over the cage to attack Dylan Dennis, and then some of his guys jumped in to attack Conor, and it was pretty gross. It was a pretty big bummer all around. Sorry, I'm just sitting on something here. It's a pretty big bummer all around. Here we are. So maybe you spend some time with me. If you do, I'm very, very appreciative. I truly am. You know that I spend a lot of time telling people how beautiful martial arts are and how wonderful it is and how special and how it's art and it's skill and it's beautiful. It's hard to tell people that and talk about that when all kinds of craziness like this is happening. I'm going to have a few thoughts on it. So let's actually talk about the fight first, because that is the most important thing. That's what we're there for. You know, that we are, a lot of us are very distracted by conflict and controversy, and that's a thing, you know. But we're there for there's artistry too, and there's beauty there, and there's special things there. But fight was fantastic. Khabib was brilliant. He was truly brilliant. And Conor had prepared round one. You know, Conor lost. Khabib took over round one, but Conor had showed signs that he was prepared. He was able to stay calm and relaxed, and then not take any damage. Like, okay, that guy prepared. And Khabib still smashed him. So it's not like, you know, Conor wasn't ready or, you know, this whatever excuses. You don't make those excuses. You go there and you credit Khabib. He was prepared. He was tough. He was ready. He landed a big right hand, dropped Conor McGregor. You know, that was wonderful. So that was cool. And then all the stupid shit happened. So this is what I want to say about it. And before I do, why don't we also say Tony Ferguson and Pettis? That was a wonderful, wonderful fight too. Big Derek Lewis, 11 seconds left in a heavyweight title fight. I mean, it really was a fantastic card of fights. Please excuse me, I'm just moving this a little bit so I can sit there. There we go. Yeah, it really was a fantastic card. And then, yeah, jump the fence and they do this stupidity. So I'm not. There's no way I'm going to make excuses for Khabib. I'm not going to say, you know, this is someone else's fault. But I'm going to say something about this. So the purpose of a lot of shit talk and mind games, get into the head, any of the ways we want to discuss it. There's a purpose. These are ancient strategies. Then there were strategies of conflict. There were strategies of battle. There were strategies of much bigger, higher up things like war. That's where the study it comes from, to approach fighting in this way. And you are trying to create an emotional enemy. And why are you trying to create an emotional enemy? Because if he's emotional, he may make a mistake. Jose made a mistake. Eddie made mistakes. You create emotion for the purpose of them making a mistake. And it can be intense, and it can be scary, and it can go far beyond any of those things, but that is its purpose. And Khabib made a mistake, big mistake. Jumping over there is going to be suspended. He's going to lose money. It's going to be a part of his life forever. For the rest of his life story now involves this. So that's a mistake. But that's not the mistake Conor was looking for. He was looking for a mistake that would allow him to be able to defeat this man, and he did not. He didn't make any mistakes that for that purpose. Conor was looking to create an emotional enemy. He created an emotional enemy. But Khabib did make a mistake, and that's doing this. And here we are. You know, now, again, please don't think that I am making an excuse or blaming a different guy. But these are this is one of the side effects of this type of strategy, is that he will make an error, and he made an error. He made an error that's harmful for his life, and might lose money. There's all these different things this error will cost Khabib, but it was not the error that he was looking for. So here's what I want to. I want to talk about fighting. I want to break down things and show arrows to explain to you all these little things. I do 1 minute breakdowns. Sometimes I talk for 2 hours, and different things for different people. But I'm also, for me, the idea of studying something in such detail for so long and studying it from so many ways, you start to see the whole world in it, and you start to see it as a reflection of the whole world. That is what it is to study anything. That's what it is to be a chef. That's what it is to study music. It's what it is to be really good at your job, or to try to be really good at your job. That's what it is. And for me, I see everything in martial arts, and I see martial arts in everything. And it's a great gift in my life. It's been an incredibly wonderful thing for me personally as a human being, for my growth and my happiness. And I look in this idea that we create this amount of conflict and hatred and anger and negativity. I know when Conor has done it, he has done it for a purpose, and he believes it's a noble purpose. But whatever your belief is, you're still creating negativity and conflict and the whole world is full of this. It's everywhere. Thank you. People said some nice things about my suit. It's everywhere. And we're all doing it. And every time we say, yeah, but it's this guy's fault, and he says, no, but it's their fault. We're doing it too. We're all doing it. Somebody's like, oh, well, he got him pissed off. This guy made me mad. Nobody makes you anything unless you have no control over your emotions. And if that is true, and many of us don't, and many of us don't sometimes, and many of us don't at others, we got to be working on that shit. That's the point of where we are as a culture. We got to be working on that anger and these days, politics, hip hop, fighting, it doesn't matter. Wherever you're looking, people decide on their side and they defend it to the death. They fight it to the death. And then they change their own beliefs and thoughts and ideas and create excuses to be right, to stay with their idea. To be an evolving human being is to allow yourself to change, to seek improvement, to be better than you were yesterday. And if we're going to do this, we're not going to do it by, but Conor did this, but he'd be. This is not good. This is not good. This is not good for any of us. It really isn't. And why am I talking about this? Because after any great fight, after any of these moments of seeing and studying martial arts and the things around it, we try to learn something. We think differently. That's what it is to go see a great show, or look at a brilliant painting, or to go and see an amazing concert. That's what it is to look at art. Is you're supposed to think. It's supposed to inspire thought. And to just stick with your team and but it's this guy. This is harmful for you, not just the world or society, but you are less happy and going to accomplish less growth if you do that. So here's what I'm saying. If you're Conor McGregor is a man of great influence. Every single person, we've got 566 people on the stream right now, which is beautiful. Thank you for 570. Thank you for coming and spending time with me to talk about this. I really appreciate it. It's very meaningful to me. Every single one of you, Conor has influenced. If you hate him, he has influenced you. If you love him, he has influenced you. If you decided to click on this thing because this guy in this weird suit's going to talk about this guy, he has influenced you. He's a man of great influence. He influenced Eddie Alvarez, and he influenced Jose Aldo. He influenced Khabib. Khabib, who beat the crap out of him wonderfully, brilliant performance. He influenced him to make an error, in judgment due to emotion. So he's a man of great influence. And when you're a man or a woman or a person of great influence, you have the chance to influence people. He can come out on Monday or Tuesday or next week and explain the purpose of these things is to create emotion in people. Sometimes it makes people buy pay-per-views. Sometimes it makes Eddie Alvarez hesitate. Sometimes it makes people hate him and click on his stuff. But to explain that this is done for that reason. Also to recognize that there is a dark side to this kind of thing. And if he explained it to us in different ways, explained it to the world around, this is a moment where you can be an incredible positive influence to people. Shut off this yelling. and that we're all doing at each other in caps on Twitter, and that we're doing to discuss, and we're getting mad, and we're blaming, no, it was Conor, no, it was Khabib, no, it was Conor, no, it was you did it. This is a moment to be able to go and go, if we want to get anywhere, we have to let this shit go. We have to look for ways to create less conflict. We have to look for ways to diffuse these things. This is a chance. Conor McGregor has the chance over the next couple of days to diffuse all of this, if he chooses to. He's made a lot of money. He's a very successful man with a family. His life this is a chance to do something meaningful. Some people are angry at different things and yelling at each other and stuff like that. That's all a result of this. You can look at this kind of moment and say, we can change things, because it's just getting worse. Turn on anything. I blame TV. I work in TV, so we're all to blame. Any of us who worked in TV, and we're not, because the machine changes, but we are, because we can do things about it. When we turn on the news and there's 4 people in little bubbles arguing their point to the point of defending it at all costs, no matter what it is and no matter how bad it is, and changing all of your views for it, we're all doing it. But that's what we saw last night. I don't know. Fuck, it's like 1 o'clock in the morning here, so it's 4 back in Toronto where I live, and who knows? There's people from all over the world. Thank you for hanging with me. We have the chance to do that, right? We do. We could right now just go, how do we make something good come of this? So that's Conor McGregor has that chance. This is a really great, huge learning moment for us all that could change us. At least all of us that pay attention and yell and argue. He can lead us. He can lead people to a better idea. So I will just pop up something. Like if someone comes and starts screaming in the street after people's families are religious, would you call him a man of influence? Of course. He's influence. That's a man of influence. Bad, negative influence. Terrible, bad influence. But that's big influence, right? Of course. No, and somebody said, you don't have to praise him for that. I'm not praising him. That's just the truth. The man that influences people. The fact, if you're arguing about him, good or bad, he's influenced you. I'm not saying it's good. In fact, tonight it was terrible. What? The result of that man's influence tonight was terrible. Khabib made an error. He made an error. The error was made because of emotion. The emotions were created because of a strategy to make a man emotional so that he might commit an error. He did commit an error, but you still lost the fight. Conor McGregor was still soundly beaten by this man. So the man, Khabib, great man, made an error that only harms Khabib and us, arguing about everything and yelling at each other and blaming each other. And, that's us too. We were hurt by it too. But all this negativity is part of the influence, the game of influence. And influence elects presidents. Influence changes companies. Influence does all kinds of stuff. It is the most powerful thing in our society, our current society. Influence. Why do they? People with a million Twitter or Instagram followers can make a living just influencing people. They call them. You know what they call them? Influencers. It's a fucking huge part of the world we live in. The fact that people of influence affect each other and affect all of us. So McGregor has that chance to be a positive influence here, because he was a negative influence. But so that's that. I'm sorry I went on for 9 minutes about that after talking for only 4 about Khabib's brilliant fight. But he did have a brilliant fight. He really did. It was a brilliant, epic performance. It was. We'll, of course, come back to this. I've got hundreds of comments and questions, which I appreciate dramatically, massively. I can't get to them all. So I'll grab a couple in a little bit. But I'm sure we're going to come back to it. And by the time I'm going to pop a few questions up, it'll lead us back here, I'm sure. But Tony Ferguson and Khabib. I got Khabib on the brain right now. Tony Ferguson and Anthony Pettis, that can be the beauty of combat. That was an unbelievable thing. So let's take a couple of questions. Cursing on so, and again, we're getting some of this. People, religion to promote a show are funny and nobody cared, but the Middle East took influence about proud. Look, the reason people use that strategy of trying to make people emotional is in hopes that it will help them. They'll get some kind of gain from it. You'll sell more pay-per-views. Check, that happens. You make Jose Aldo overly aggressive. Check, it happened. Make Eddie hesitate because the temperature has been raised and the meaning is so much higher. Check, it happened. Well, this is the downside of that. And again, I'm not blaming Conor McGregor, and I'm certainly not excusing Khabib, but this is a direct connection. He was hoping to make his man emotional so that he would make errors. You want your enemy to make errors due to emotion. And he did. He just didn't make errors that allowed you to win the fight. In fact, he got beat up pretty badly. And then the errors that he made will harm Khabib. They said he apologized. He'll get smashed by his father. Yeah. I did a chat with Russia Today. My guy Dennis over at Russia Today. Dennis was wearing the Khabib hat. Came on, and the first question he asked me was that the most dominant performance? Wasn't that an incredibly dominant performance? Because Khabib represents over there, and nobody's trying to, argue, or nobody's trying to, be evil. He's just their guy. And Conor's the Irish guy, and part of that is why people battle forever. Oh, man, we're defending it. It's entirely Khabib's fault. That's entirely McGregor's fault. Everybody's at blame. But this is a reaction to his strategy of creating an emotional enemy. He will make an error, and he made an error. He made a big error. People talking about wrestling and how they don't like it. Hey, man, if you're a fan of the other guy who got beaten by a guy who was wrestling on top of him, you may defend to the end. Well, it's wrestling's fault. You don't have to fight it to the end. We can grow and change. We can learn all kinds of shit. Derek Lewis, he had hot balls. Somebody just sent me a note. Hot balls, ? Apparently he had hot balls. To which Joe Rogan responded, I understand, which is hilarious. But so Smoke here mentioned in all caps mind control. Listen, depending on how far you want to go down this road, this is actually, it'll be backwards on your thing, but it's mind control. I've been reading it. I read it coming into this. Because of these things, mind control, again, this is what I do, so my apologies. But every time you eat Doritos, you're being mind controlled. Why did I get this? I mean, it is a delicious beverage, but seeing this logo that makes me reach, that is a kind of mind control. It's a kind of influence. I mean, this, depending how deeply you want to look into it, many of the choices and decisions we make every day are not made by us because Khabib didn't say, I am going to weigh the consequences. I'm going to leap over this cage and attack a guy in the crowd. Because if he weighed the consequences, he'd be like, actually, I could be charged with assault. I could lose my everything, and people could hate. There's all these negative consequences. Well, he didn't choose that. He was influenced to do that thing, drew to a strategized emotional planning. This is all just a part of. But if McGregor came out after, people forgive famous people all the time, especially charming famous people, even people who hate them, come out and explain, I do this for these reasons. I believed that it would, and it has helped me in the past to be successful, to make people happy, to entertain people, to make myself rich, to win fights, all of these things that are important to him. But I see the negative side of it. I see the dark side of it. There is a dark side, and look what happened. He can do that. He has that. He's rich and famous. He can do whatever he wants. Just think of how good that would be. Somebody was asking about eye pokes. Yeah, I mean, and they said pride gloves. There was a bit of the commentary on during part, and I think I heard Rogan talking about that. Yeah, maybe that'll help a bit, but it's not the answer. It's still got fingers sticking out, and it's a part of fighting with open hand combat. Is that you're gonna have fingers sticking out? Not much you can do about it. It's a scary, sad part of the imperfect nature of the sport. You shared your tweet about being nice to each other and respecting each other, Robin. Yeah, proved to be very prescient indeed. On Twitter, and it's on my Instagram right now. I'm at Robin Black MMA in both. I'll read it to you what I said. Conor's only meaningful strike was slapping Khabib's head at the weigh-in. Well, I mean, if you hate him, you can say that. He hit him a few times. I've never understood why people will go and like insult somebody that they just beat or that their guy beat or whatever. You're undermining the value of the win. You're undermining its potency, its importance. It's a shitty win if the guy sucks, but it's a great win if the guy's good. So I don't know why we want to do that. So this is what I had tweeted, and on my Instagram at Robin Black MMA is my name. I said, today, two geniuses of combat will focus their lifetimes of training towards defeating each other. There will be one winner and one vanquished. The process will offer us elegance and beauty. Please respect them both. They deserve love and admiration. Enjoy the hostilities, my friends. That's what I wrote. Because I was picturing that people were going to freak out on each other. I wasn't picturing that it would carry over to the level of the actual combatants and the people around them. I thought we'd just see people being dicks on Twitter, which also makes me sad. I don't know what we're getting out of that. Certainly not. It's not making us happy. Going, your guy sucks. Like, I know that's a part of sport, but the level to which we do it these days, it's so big. And so let me read a few questions and comments and stuff. Dylan Dennis is the biggest douche ever. I mean, is he? Like, if he was your friend or your neighbor or something, you'd be like, wow, he's such a nice guy. Like, you'd know him. You'd get to know who he was, how he's like with his family, what he's like when he's scared or sad or happy. People are people, you know? And bullshit that Dana said he won't let Khabib's teammates fight in the UFC when he goes credentialed the media member who let McGregor and his gang in to attack the bus. There's a big difference between... No, he took their press credentials. I don't know if he put one of them back in or whatever, but big difference between that and jumping into a cage to attack a guy from behind. You're not ever going to let that guy fight. I mean, they've already done not enough as it is. It's time to do something. And it's like, and again, it's like somebody on one side, well, yeah, but he did this and people have died. Many millions of people in human history have died because that people who live over there say that the people that live over there started it, and they say they started it. It's fucking over and over and over, humans, we've done this shit. Duke made an amazing call. Best fight of the card. Yeah, he did. He protects your guy. Can you please analyze how Pettis adapted to his hand injury in the second round of the fight and the different strategies he used in order to defend himself? So if his hand is badly broken or really injured, it's going to be really rough, right? So I believe it was his right hand. Yes, it was. I'm picturing it now. It was his right hand. Because even to parry or even like if you throw elbows, and we've seen guys who've broken their hand through elbows, it's still jarring. It's still like shaking the bone and like the all of it. It's inflamed. But Paulie Malignaggi, I did a interview, a sit down for an hour with Paulie back when. Speaking of people connected, freaking out over Conor. Paulie's a very emotional cat too, and we talked about how he got his front hand so good, and he said it was because he really kept smashing his backhand. He kept smashing his right hand, his power hand, and his front hand. Even he would continue to train because he's obsessed, and he would just kind of like when it was in a cast or whatever, he'd just work with the front hand. You keep the front, you keep the other side up, presumably. Although Pettis with side kicks and stuff like Michelle Waterson used, Pettis has that game. Sometimes people will keep still. They're good. He's so ambidextrous, it doesn't matter. But so actually, even still, he would hide his right hand back and use his front leg as a side kick or front kick. But Tony, man, he's just going to keep coming at you. Talk to Kevin Lee. It's on tsn.ca/UFC. I did an analysis breakdown with Kevin, and I asked him who's going to win. He said Conor's going to knock out Khabib. But don't get mad at Kevin. He's just making a guess. He's got an educated guess, yes, but it's just a guess. They don't know. Nobody knows. I don't know what else I was going to say about Kevin, to be honest with you. My brain is pretty tired. There was a lot. It was, kind of down. I'll be honest with you. Kind of down. Negativity's not great, and it's all so negative. I'm still fighting in the UFC somehow, even though he wasn't a fucking part of the whole. I don't know what the. But yeah, a lot of yelling, a lot of people freaking out. That no, it was them. No, it was them. No, it was them. No, it was them. Please, 1,000 of you are watching, which is so cool. Thank you for hanging. But if 100 of you happens to go, well, give it some thought. Maybe this isn't good. Maybe I shouldn't just defend and fight and then protect my idea already. Okay, well, Conor's the best and Khabib's the jerk. It's his fault. Or Khabib is awesome. Conor's a terrible human being. And you don't have to do it. This is a nice time for us to go, maybe let's diffuse it a little bit. Let's bring it down. This isn't really doing anything for anybody. Nothing positive. Conor, despite losing, avoiding wrist control well, he was impressed by his defense. Round one, he was prepared. You could see it. But Khabib just kept coming. And, I heard a few references to as he wears you down. Dana talked about it, and that's true. But he also learns. He's also going to learn as he goes. He's going to read your reactions and get better as it goes. That's what it is to be truly great. And Khabib is truly great. Somebody said, how do you think Conor feels? So much personal trash talk at the end, he couldn't realize none of his words. I think if Khabib didn't explode and instead he had his talk and they did talk to Conor, I think he would say, I lost because of this. I had errors here. This was my mistake. This was my flaw. And we can all learn from that even if you hate him. That is the right thing to do. Where is it my fault? Where are my weaknesses? What did I do? Not make excuses. And we've seen that from him in the past. Hey, Robin, Conor punched first. Go watch the tape. Yeah, who cares? Who cares who did it first? They're all assholes. Right? All of them. They're all assholes. It doesn't matter who did it first. It's irrelevant. If somebody hit somebody and the other person said, didn't hit them back and then said, I'm a better man and explained, found the way to anybody watching a scenario where somebody walked up and punched the other guy and then he was pulled away and somebody calmly, didn't react insanely, everyone would respect that because it is something to be respected. Doesn't matter what anybody did or said to me. If I react, that is 100% on me. And I've done it in my life, and so has everyone. It is a human failing. Somebody does something. If I react, doesn't matter what it was. They said something about my mother. They spit at me. If I react to that, that is 100% on me. It is. It is. And as soon as you look at it that way, you change your entire life. You change everything in the way that you... And it's all still a growth thing, and you don't get it perfect. Sometimes I say stupid shit all the time. I don't react angrily and freakishly for a long time, and then all of a sudden I'm tired or stressed, and then I will. Because I'm a human, and humans are not great. We're all kind of a little defective, But you can get better at it. It should have been a beautiful moment. Yes. It should have been. Now it'll be there with Khabib. And Khabib seems like a great man. He does. If you look at it, honestly, if you're not colored by anger or emotion, you look at it honestly, Khabib seems like a great man. He just lost control. We're good people. Don't control ourselves. We all do it. But if instead of hanging on to he did it, what he did was worse, no, but what he did was worse, well, the UFC shouldn't have shown this thing, just fucking ease it back. Can do it. It can be done. It's just the nature of fighting. Sometimes it's sport. Other times it's a war. He did say, so I used the word war on TSN tonight, and nobody's mad. Nobody minded. The audience probably didn't even notice it. People say, this fight's a war. What a war on the gridiron. We say it all the time. But a buddy of mine, somebody that I work with was like, that's... You don't have to use it. You don't have to sort of go to that part. But they used it a lot. McGregor said, prepare for war. When one of us goes to war, we all go to war. This is going to be a war. This war will never be over. Over and over and over he said it. That's what he created, not the type of war that harms generations and lots of people, but that type of, that's what he created. But again, I'm not blaming him or I'm not excusing Khabib. Our reactions, if we cannot control them, that's on us. Hey, Robin, can you please tell me what you think of Black Beast's mental strength he showed? Yeah, that was really cool. And he just stay with it. I was hearing some of the commentary. I didn't get to hear a lot of it, and often I watched it differently when I don't hear even great commentators like these guys. But they were talking about OSP and how he was mentally strong too. That's another one. That guy never even just was still trying and still trying and still sorting and still trying to learn and still going for it. That was really, both those two men were very impressive. Conor said he was going to kill Khabib and said he was lucky because he wouldn't put him. Yeah. I know these guys. They're elevating it. They're elevating it all. We do it. We all do it. Great narrative, Robin. Thank you. That's very kind, Dan. Anyone forget about McGregor's illegal moves? Yeah, that's a good point. But again, illegal moves became part of what the way he looked at examined fighting when he tried to fight Floyd Mayweather. To do it, as my obsessively overused term, try disrupt. What you're looking, if you cannot be better than somebody, you're looking for ways to find holes or things that they don't understand or have been forgotten or something to find a way in. And so being fast and loose with the rules, seeing what people believe is illegal but a ref wouldn't call, was part of that research. And it made him a dirty fighter. But again, a lot of this belief, dirty. He's a dirty, so you're a dirty fighter. Or, he's not a lot of, this guy doesn't have sportsmanship. In truth, there's no such thing as sportsmanship. It's a construct. We invented it. We invented it to treat each other well. And that's good. That's a good thing. We should do that. But you can't go out into the forest and find a bucket of sportsmanship. Doesn't exist in nature. It's a part of humans. You can choose to ignore it if you believe that what you're doing is worth changing, dismissing something like sportsmanship or the rules or it's again dirty. It's dirty to talk about someone's family. It's dirty to talk about their country like that. It's dirty to say these really things that are emotional. That's dirty. But you can choose to do it if you choose to, because it's just something we all kind of agree to. And I'm not saying he should. In fact, I'm saying he shouldn't. I'd prefer if he didn't. I'd prefer that personally. I'm one person, but I think it would be a much better world if people treated each other well and if people did have sportsmanship and weren't dirty in the way they approach things. But it is your choice to choose. And Habib's nice, but lucky overhand right affected Conor's energy. So now we got to go to his energy was affected by a right hand, which was lucky. How the fuck was that lucky? Again, we're trying to hold on to our worldview where Conor's awesome and this guy sucks. And none of that is true. It's just you're fighting to keep an idea that doesn't have to stay true. Khabib can land a right hand because he was desperately aggressive to do so and committed to it. And that energy and emotion you created in him in hopes that it would make him make errors drove that right hand home. That had so much meaning and passion. This man is undermining and insulting maybe even my religion. He didn't go quite there, but he certainly didn't mind letting certain ideas come in there. Of course, that drove him. That right hand was directly connected to that. Can I say that with certainty? I mean, all of it's connected to everything. Fighting is an extension and an expression of who you are. And who you are is different from moment to moment. Who you are is different from moment to moment. I was talking to Jonathan, my buddy, interviewed me for the Underground, the UG. Shout out to the UG. He was saying that, when he acts, that we all do it, we're all humans, and when he does act out of character or he's rude or he's mean, that he feels bad about it after. He feels bad. Of course we feel bad. I'm sure Khabib feels bad now. Anyways, it is what it is. How Conor started defending the takedowns but looked completely gassed. I didn't think he didn't look gassed. It's just hard. It's not only physically demanding, it's mentally demanding to continue push. And when you get mentally fatigued, you are tired. I'm mentally fatigued now after a week here and all of the work that we've done, which has been fun and thrilling, and I'm thrilled by it, but I'm tired. Be attacked when Conor was still sitting on the ground. Yeah. Well, and again, so what? We don't have to blame him. These are people. Most people are good people. Your enemy is not evil. Your enemy is just a complex human being just like you. I've learned a lot over the years. I've learned a lot in my own conflicts, in business and in life. Nobody wins usually out of these things when they're this way. Conor punched Khabib's mate. Yeah, again. Are we just going to argue who did what? Really? Children do that. When children get in trouble, she started it. No, she started it. Fucking children do that. Children. I'm not meaning to be condescending. I'm just looking at it. I really don't. I don't mean to insult anybody. I don't want to put anybody down. If that's how it came off, I sincerely apologize. That's not what I meant. But anyone who's got kids, their kids do that all the time. How the fuck are we still doing that when we're in our 20s and 30s and 40s and 50s? Do you think Conor... there's so many things here, and they're flying by, and it's my apology. I don't think I've ever had 1,000 people on a stream at a time. But, of course, this was a big, crazy, intense thing. Do the UFC have to hold their hands up for ushering in the money of the spirit of... Yeah. I mean, yeah. Of course, everybody's at fault. Hey, Robin, you're awesome. Thanks. Thanks for the... Hey, listen. I'm not some fucking... There's no guru here. And I'm not the most positive person on earth. I'm just trying to look for something in there. I hope you don't mind if I take my tie off. I'm just trying to look. There are chances in these moments to learn and change. It's real. So, Athletic Commission, somebody said, Robin, doesn't the guy who spit deserve to get hit? No, nobody deserves anything. You choose to hit him if you choose to hit him. And if something bad happens, that's your choice, your consequences. Somebody spits at me, what if I go and give him a hug? That could fucking change the world. Change the fucking world if you think like that. Maybe not. Maybe nothing. Maybe I'll spit again. Maybe, but I might feel better about it. Mr. Super Religious showed his true colors tonight. People don't have true colors. I see this one a lot too. I'm not trying to judge anybody, and I'm just hoping maybe you think about it. People don't have true colors. People are complicated. Somebody will tell their mother they're the greatest, and the next day call her a bitch. We've seen people do it all the time. They're not bad people. They're just different in these different moments. They're just different. Nobody has true colors. Sometimes you're this, sometimes you're that, sometimes you're kind, sometimes you're scared. I hear, I wonder if I'm keeping somebody up next door. I hear some sound over there. Hey, Robin. I literally hear a cutting sound in the wall. What the hell is that? You probably can't hear it through here. Thoughts on Khabib's performance tonight? To get on another topic, yeah, he was fantastic. Hey, Robin, do you think this way fighters can learn to harness the reaction and emotion into energy to use skillfully in fights, or do you think that emotion overrides our brain too much? Emotion does override our brain, so we have to learn how to not, So, Khabib didn't... This is a comment I often get. That people say, you're not saying anything. Or that if you don't understand what I'm saying, it's still something. Especially when other people tend to just, everybody's different anyways. It's a weird one. It's a very strange one. I'm always shocked by that. I could definitely talk about takedown defense if you prefer. But to be honest, when you have followers or people that follow you, you have to feed the ones that are positive. If you want to live in a positive world, that's what we want to do. There are things like family, religion that should be avoided in the buildup of a fight. If UFC can't regulate things, you can't regulate what someone says. You can't. How? Also, you don't want to live in a world where someone regulates what you say at all. You can't. He's going to say what he's going to say. And there are consequences to the things that you do. And in this one, his consequence was getting beat up and attacked from behind. And then now Khabib, the consequence to what he does, what if he's suspended for a year? They'll strip him. I was at the press conference. They said, Dana, would we strip him? He's like, who knows? He goes, but depending on how long, if he was suspended for too long, yeah, we might have to strip him. That's a consequence of your action. Robin, should we say that Conor shouldn't be fighting in that weight class? No, we shouldn't say that. No, that's his natural weight class. He was a champion. He knocked out Eddie Alvarez, for crying out loud. What else? What else we got? I think you need to watch the end of the fight again. I think some of you. I mean, maybe that you do. Maybe you just need to stop arguing about it. It's really it's only harmful to the people arguing. Conor, and to the world around them. I shouldn't say only. So Conor's very similar to the Patriots, is what you're saying. I don't know. The Patriots are a football team, but I don't know what they do. I don't know. I don't know about anything other than things. Another time when Conor threw a bus threw a thing at the bus. Yeah, that was stupid. Sometimes it's better to react, even when you get fired for it. It's about honor and pride. I think Khabib is a man, a lion who lived with this pride. Is pride important? More important than your behavior and what happens to you when you do something? Is pride more important than that? Hey, Robin, do you think there is a way? Oh man, I'm sorry. It's really hard to. Fighter said it was the same one can harness emotion. Yeah, you can harness it. You can understand it. You can become self-aware. If you understand what a guy is doing, then his words don't have to have meaning. He's saying these things. He's trying to get me to react in hopes that I make an error. And he got a reaction, and it was an error. It just wasn't the one he was looking for. He ended up still getting beat up and losing. But Khabib, it was a reaction that's harmful to Khabib, and it was. Just not one that got him to win a fight. But he got a reaction that was harmful to Khabib. And it is one of the things that happens when you play these games. Khabib didn't even touch anybody when he jumped out. I guess I hope maybe somebody heard what I said. It was just continuing over and over. Yeah, but he did it. Yeah, but he did it. But he didn't. But his was worse. What are we getting out of that? How is this in any way good for any of us? Khabib, I mean, even if he did attack somebody, whether he touched somebody or not, you terrifying people and you're freaking people out, people fall and run away and jump out of the way, that's dangerous. That's an attack. It doesn't matter. The whole problem is the UFC doesn't regulate what topics fighters can speak. You can't control what people say. You can't. Can't regulate speech. Speech is your freedom. Conor's ring rust, simple as that? No, it wasn't. I'm sorry. Did it have a role? It could. But also, often when people say as simple as that, for the most part, most things are not as simple enough to say as simple as that. Somebody said Conor retired. I don't know if that's actually true, but it could be. It could be. And then he was overwhelmed. 27-0, yeah, that's pretty cool, man. That's pretty legit. This might be one of the greatest fighters of all time, you know? Thumb in the glove, holding the shorts, toes in the fence. Yeah. He's a dirty. He's not. Somebody said he's a dirty loser. He's not a dirty loser. He's a dirty fighter. He is. He chooses to use whatever. So when you do something that's dirty, but you are not penalized for it, it's now available in a fight. The only penalty is the judgment of others. Most people don't, a lot of people don't care about the judgment of others. Somebody asked if we can do shrooms together. I haven't done anything like that for quite some time, but things like that can be of benefit to some people. Robin, you must have had some real struggles to be this insightful. Well, thank you. I think we all do, though. Everybody does. That's what it is to be human. And to become insightful is struggles, but we're all struggling. We're just trying to learn as we go. Somebody said, don't act like you're above arguing. Of course I'm not above arguing. I've argued a lot. It's been some of the greatest failures of my life have been because of arguing or by reacting. It's bad. Of course I've done it. We are human. We fail. This is a failure. When we're doing it, we are failing. The whole problem is the UFC doesn't, we're still, Rob, you're right. The comment section is filled with children, including me. But seriously, what's your opinion on Conor's obvious ring rust? Ring rust is not real unless you believe it's real. Was he not in as good a shape? Okay, so this actually, I can tell you. Ring rust, just a fucking word. 2 words put together to create a thing that we say. But this I can tell you. For Conor's adult life, he lived as an obsessed professional athlete. All of his UFC fights were the fights of a man living as a professional athlete. Tonight, that man lived as a famous celebrity. That's not the same thing. That is not the same thing. And so he is a different man. And that man is not good enough to beat Khabib. Khabib beats that man. Everything he is, everything he was today, he's created. He is Conor McGregor. He's created that, and he put that in the ring, in the cage, and he failed. That's his road. It's something he did. It's something he created. So you can't, ring rust, next time it'll be better. No, that man that was there tonight isn't good enough to beat Khabib. The man that beat Eddie Alvarez, maybe. With new ideas and new learning, maybe. But he's not that man. He's this man. And that's all on him. And he'll tell you that. Anybody that's going to grow is going to say, this was my failure. I wasn't as strong as I thought. I wasn't physically in as much shape. I didn't train enough over the last year. The Conor McGregor, the famous celebrity, was not good enough to beat Khabib. Could Conor McGregor, the obsessed combat sports athlete and martial artist, could that man? Maybe, but he's not that man. He's not that man. He's the man we saw tonight. You don't think Conor is built for going 5 rounds? He's gone 5 rounds. He went fucking 10 3-minute rounds. He is built for that. And whatever you are built or not built for, you built you. You built you. You are entirely the result of your actions, the things you've learned, the things you've done, the things that have influenced you. That's you. That's not some, you built you. And you wish Khabib wasn't a Muslim. No one wants to, people's religion is their thing. It's their belief system. Would I ever insult that? I would not. I would not. Do I think other people, would I prefer if other people didn't? I would prefer that. I would. But we don't control Conor McGregor or Khabib or you. We can hope to influence each other in positive ways if we can. Somebody said, we are all malleable. It's true. We're plastic. We can change. And I mean plastic as an ability to change. If you were in charge of UFC, would you book Ferguson and Khabib for the 5th time? No. Habib's going to be suspended. He'll be out for between 6 months and a year, probably. 6 months might be realistic. 9 months, I think, has happened before. Can trash talk be regulated? Talk should not be regulated. We have the freedom to say what we want. You have the freedom to react how you react. Dana White should be replaced by Robin Black. Nah, Dana was sad. I saw him tonight. He was sad. And somebody said, holy shit, Robin, you got a stalker. I don't know if we're hearing that. That's why it was a little quieter. It was weird. Hey, Robin, I was watching a marsupial wrestle a snake. I was thinking that some techniques used by animals could be used in MMA. A lot of our fighting a lot of martial arts were taken by studying animals, especially a lot of the Chinese martial arts, but many different martial arts. You want to see Eddie or Kevin Lee versus Khabib? Yeah, I'd like to see that too. Free speech is a right. Regarding trash talk backwards, yes, I agree. Say what you say. You know, those boys who jumped into the cage to attack Conor are fair game now to be attacked from behind. No, they're not. Don't attack somebody from behind. If what they did is so bad, why on earth would you do it? Robin, everyone needs to go pick up the 4 Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz. Hey, yeah, I read that, and I've recommended it before. It is great. It was one thing that did influence the way that I tried to look at the world. I'm so imperfect; it's ridiculous, like we all are. But trying to. Khabib, the greatest MMA fighter ever. He's fucking good, man. 27 other people have lost. Nobody's ever undefeated. Dominating guys. Has anyone seen the scorecards? Are they out there? Can somebody Google and let us know? Pretty sure some judges might have given Conor round 3. Whether that meets your opinion or mine is not my point. My point is that the 3 people at cage side, 1 or 2 or 3 of them might have given him round 3. I don't know if they should have, but I have a feeling they might have. Really dumb when the big deal about Khabib was outnumbered. Robin, did you talk to Eddie Bravo? I saw Eddie at the quintet grappling thing. Do you think Dana favors Conor too much? In business, in a meritocracy, which is how some people, how you kind of have to run the UFC. Merit, according to Merit, number one, the highest paid with the most flexibility and the best parking spot is always the most valuable. And he is very valuable to them. $100 million was probably made tonight. Who knows? Maybe more. Would you book Khabib Ferguson for a fifth time? No. Oh, yeah, we already answered that. Robin, you supported this attitude alongside the... I lost it. I'm sorry. Thank you for answering my question. You're very welcome. Forget about the BS. How many times will you rewatch the fight? Like 5, probably. I'll watch it probably now before I go to bed, if I can get it. And then probably will be able to get it. Irish fans all disappeared and deleting comments. Yeah. Well, they're sad. They're sad. Is that bad? They're sad. You know? UFC needs Khabib. Still, his money, yes. If you check the comments below, all the hates against Khabib are in the truth. Hate about religion, they hide it behind this unprofessional sportsmanship politics. Not all, but some may be. Religion, politics, even news to some degree of nationality. All of these things are very emotional to people. Please get real. Conor didn't even defend the choke, mentally broke early. Yeah, probably, maybe, I don't know. Fuck, how would you do in a cage fight? Like, somebody called Pettis a quitter. That's horrible. People who quit, to get to that point, to get so far that, and he's not a quitter, and that's not the case, but even let's say that in the middle of a fight, you just can't go on anymore. So you go so far, where are you going? Because most people quit on fucking January the 3rd about their New Year's resolution. These people go all the way to almost the destination before they give up. Most people give up 1,000% earlier. Their team won for once. They feel like the winner. His team, his people did. They will feel like that. But, why can't we look at both of them and appreciate these people and what they give us? But the problem is UFC has to act right and not allow fighters to racially. You can't mandate that. People can say what they want to say. Why do you think Conor not wanting to press charges? I think that's right. I think that's the correct thing to do. This is all a byproduct of the world that he's creating. And so to then have something pop off and then say, I'm charging him for it, it's like, that's just not in line with who the guy seems to be. Change it up as could be the greatest MMA fighter of all time. He's he's magical. He's incredible. Somebody's talking about his balls were hot. Derek Lewis said his balls were hot. Khabib fans love you, Robin. You're fair. Please don't be biased about mental games. I'm not biased. I'm literally just looking at it. McGregor caused these scenarios to happen by playing this game, which is designed to create an emotional enemy in hopes that he will make an error. That's how I see it. Not biased. I actually wondered if Conor had allowed his emotion to drain him before this fight started. He seemed pretty relaxed. In round 1, he seemed very relaxed, so I don't think there's no excuses. He lost. The other guy, who Khabib was tonight and is right now, was better in that moment, Khabib of tonight, than Conor of tonight. And that's an aspect of that will be true always. Now, Nate Diaz of the first night was better than the Conor McGregor of that night. But however many months into the future, Conor McGregor of that night, Nate Diaz of that night, were much more closely matched. And the judges said that night's Conor McGregor was better. But are you going to break down the actual fight? It was a great performance by Khabib. Yeah, I said it was a brilliant performance by Khabib. McGregor had a good strategy, and even with a good strategy, well prepared, he was not able to handle this guy. So I'm sure there'll be no excuses, because the only way you're ever going to get better is to find no excuses. In fact, look for your faults. He smashed his face, yep, and he tired him. It's a man of his word, yeah. Am I on crack? Do I seem like I'm on crack? I'm exhausted. I'm on this, but Why? Because I'm so crazy that I would come up with like, hey, why don't we stop fighting with each other? So I was thinking about the GOAT argument and wanted to know if you think it's disrespectful to the fighters involved because they're being unfairly compared, or is it a fun debate? A lot of these debates are fun, and something might be learned by them, but a lot of them are just there to argue too, to be honest. No, my guy's the GOAT. No, my guy's the GOAT. No, my guy's the GOAT. You know? I don't think it's a bad thing, though. I mean, we don't want to never argue, disagree, and debate. That's not good either. We just don't want to do it to this at all costs. And a great thing about life is people showing you a new perspective, something that influences the way that you see the world in a good way. You can't have that if you're just arguing, and no matter what they tell you, you'll never agree with them. No matter what, like that's no good. So I think I better go, guys. I'm really tired. It's been a long, very, very long week. I'm flying back to Toronto tomorrow. But I massively appreciate y'all coming on. I really do. Somebody here, how can you say Conor isn't rusty, but say the Conor that beat Eddie might have beaten Khabib? Because that's not, yeah, it's a good question, good follow-up question. Because that's not what it is to be rusty. You are what you are today. That's you. That's you. You know? And it's on you. You made you. You know? Rusty, I mean, rusty is something that happens to metal and it starts to break down, and we've used it as an analogy to talk about people who aren't at their best. Was he at his best? No. Could he on a different day perhaps knock out Khabib? Of course. But not today. And maybe not ever. Maybe not that day. Maybe the next day. Maybe that dynamic of it could never, maybe he couldn't. But if we grow, of course. But sometimes we don't grow. We shrink, or we weaken, or we fatigue, or ideas that we had that seemed right turn out not to be right. That's what it is. The reason failure is so important is because it teaches you how to grow. If he said, I was rusty, and said, that is because I didn't train properly, I wasn't focused right. That's not an excuse. That's a looking at something for your weaknesses, because the next extension of that is, well, that's your fault. Like, I was a little rusty today. Well, fuck, that's your fault. Conor was not punished by the UFC for the event. Khabib is going to be stripped. Do you think UFC is biased towards other players? I don't know, maybe. I mean, we're all biased towards things. We're all influenced by things, good and bad and weird and old and young, and I mean, we're all like that. So a media boss should be free to say, that guy should be killed. I know it's hyperbole. Yes, of course he's free to say that. Of course he is. You're free to say anything. Now, there's certain speech that in many countries, well, actually, all over the world, it's mandated for different reasons. But if we're trying to protect people from something, from speech, we're weakening us all. Bad ideas are supposed to be influenced out by good ideas. If we disagree on something, we're supposed to work it out. That'll make us stronger and better, not freaking out. Oh, well, trigger alert, you can't mention my shit. Like, that's not making anybody good. Alex Jones wants to be regulated by the government. He was regulated by a private company. That's true. Private companies can do that. But private companies with a lot of power, that's a scary thing, yeah. But both fighters did a great job, Robin. Who do you think gives Khabib the toughest match at 155? I'd like to see, well, George might like to fight him. That would be pretty neat. He'd probably love that challenge. Both of them would probably love that challenge. I think Eddie's tough. I think Michael Chandler's a tough fight for Khabib. 2 was a 10-8 for Khabib. Well, I mean, was it? Or the judges, what did they say? Not what you or I say. That's not part of my conversation. I could say round 4 was going to be a 10-7 for Khabib before it ended, but I'm just actually talking about what the judges said. Do you think Conor will need more training on submissions, ground controls, at a different camp? No, you just got to keep working. His coach is brilliant, and the people he's working with are the right people. It's on him. It's not the team. We may never see Khabib again. So We've heard reference to Habib's visa. People have mentioned that. If he's not charged with a crime, it's not going to affect his visa. Oh, fuck, it's 2 o'clock in the morning here. I got to go to the airport tomorrow. Yeah, if you're not charged with a crime, it's not going to affect your visa, I don't think. But I could be wrong. They can do those things. I really appreciate people saying nice things about this conversation. Look, you know, should I run through, what the fight itself very quickly? The biggest thing for Khabib isn't just that he could fatigue Conor, although he could, and that's cool, and that's helpful. It's also that he learns in the moments. Why was round 2 so much better than round 1 for Khabib? Because he learned where the resistance was. He learned where the things that would stop. Oh, somebody here says 10-9, 10-8, 9-10, which would mean that Conor did win round 3. And that the person who said 10-8, that they were talking with the judge. I don't know if somebody here is telling me that's what judges said, or if that's just what they think. Talk about the Black Beast. I will in just a second. It's man, I lost my train of thought. I'm so tired. The fight. He learns in the fight. That's a great strength, and this actually is a strength of Conor's too in different fights. Mendez and Eddie said it was Chael Sonnen that on the 6th, McGregor is the biggest UFC draw. With a win or lose against Khabib, Conor will wake up on the 7th as the biggest draw in the UFC. Do I agree with Chael Sonnen? I agree with Chael Sonnen on a lot of things, and not everything. But yeah, it's probably true. He's probably still. You have to see it. You have to see it. You have to be there and see the effect he has on his people and the people who support him and people in the city and people who don't even know what fighting is most of the time until Conor fights. It's wild. Was Ali? No, he wasn't. Not to my knowledge, Ali wasn't involved. Pettis looked like a skinny fat guy. Was on PEDs before? No, but and skinny fat guy. Come on, this is a high level professional athlete. There are some different things that maybe were not illegal that are now illegal and stuff. So who knows what is and isn't done? But no, he looks great. He's a great martial artist. People are monsters. Should respect Pettis' corner, of course. That was the right thing to do to protect him. A Black Beast, man, to hang in there like that, and his team said, can you go after him in round 3? And he didn't really. The first half he was moving backwards still, but as it was going through, he just was committed. He's like, I gotta do this, and he did it. It was really cool, and his balls were hot. What does UFC fighters use those kinds of things to trash talk again? People gotta talk. You gotta keep speech, the freedom of speech, as an important thing for all of us. Conor versus Gaethje, yeah, you might see that actually. I don't know. Conor off a loss is a different thing. Was everything Paulie said correct about having no balls? No, of course not. Everything was not correct. But why would he use that? He uses it because Conor uses things, and nothing is off limits with Conor, clearly, when Conor does it. So Paulie took the same approach. What you're hoping to use, what is a powerful thing, is if you think that there is some nugget of truth in the mind of your opponent. The thing is, Conor has talked about giving up. So this is not an insult from Paulie or any of us. Conor has self-analytically said, there's something to this. I do, as I fatigue, sometimes I panic, sometimes whatever. And, so I talked to Chael a lot about it the other day when we did a thing on DAZN. And he's like, at any moment in that fight, you're battling your brain to not bail on it. That's what it is to, and firefighters are battling their brain to go the opposite and do the thing. It's painful and scary, and they go and they run into it. But if there's enough smoke, you gotta at some point get out, because if you stay too long, something bad's gonna happen. And our brains are thinking that in a fight. We're thinking, our brains, our subconscious is like, this is so dangerous. We could be killed here. That's what our brain's thinking. So we may not logically be thinking that, but our brain has that, like, this isn't something that should be happening. I should flee from this. And whether that is a tap or whether this is a normal human behavior, and a lot of us judge fighters, these great fighters, they're dealing with that in every moment. And sometimes when we give in, that's just us being a human. I think Conor did a lot of things right. He was good for the sport, good on the ground, defending some takedowns. Yeah, he did a lot of stuff right. Still, lost 3 of the 4 rounds, and the 3 that he lost, he got beat up a lot in 2 and 4. Conor's more a businessman, and Khabib is more of a fighter. Those are true, but being a businessman, smart. Robin, you're on Conor's nuts right now. I am. And somebody, their follow-up was, did we watch the same fight? I guess we did not. Also, I don't think you're watching this video either, because that guy got smashed, he got beaten, he's not good enough. I don't think we're in the same video. That guy got beaten up. He did a pretty good job in round 1, and he did okay in round 3. But round 2, he took a shit beating. In round 4, he took a shit beating. In round 3, he lost it and couldn't do anything by a guy who's a badass. But one thing I would like to mention, I mentioned this earlier, if your guy beats some garbage can, shitty fighter, why you've undermined your guy's accomplishment. It doesn't mean anything if Khabib Nurmagomedov beats up Robin Black. I'm a shitty fighter, right? So if he beats up Conor McGregor, or he beats up, Rafael dos Anjos, you don't want to see that guy sucks. No, your guy's amazing. Which is even more amazing if he smashes a guy who's really good. So, yeah. Conor's the victim of vanity and greed. Well, victim? For a guy who's a victim, his life seems pretty cool. He's wealthy and successful and famous and has a family. And that doesn't sound that bad. He lost a fight, and that is painful. It's incredibly painful, especially when you raise the temperature to that degree like he did, and you lose. It's very painful. And you lose to a guy when you're not liking each other. It's painful. Do you know what's good for hangovers? Electrolyte water. You're drinking it right now. Why are you hungover? I do like it, though, but we get dehydrated in there, man. We get dehydrated sometimes, and your feet hurt. Anyways, I got to go, guys. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you. If you can, if anybody out there can just do some positive stuff, try to not react to when people are insulting your guy or you, or try to not blame the other guy, and just keep this thing elevating worse and worse and worse, and instead try something different. Try it, if you would. Thank you guys very much. It means a lot to me. It's been a long, tiring week, but it was an exciting one, and I'm glad we sat here and chatted, because I learned something from thinking out loud. I hope that it helped me, and I hope that somebody got something out of it. 1,000 people, that's really cool. 1,000, there's my finger. It's really cool. Thank you guys for hanging. 1,000 people watching concurrently is a real big compliment. It means a lot to me. And if 50 of you come out and try to not react and be kind to each other, it would mean a great deal to me. Thank you all. And I've got some really nice comments coming in here, and I can't thank you enough. I'm going to bed. Till next time, enjoy the hostilities, my friends.